Okay. Now, as far as relevant costing is concerned, I'll first explain the concept and then we'll break it into sub areas. Now, what does relevant costing says is that whenever you make decision, your decisions are made with the help of cost. And in order to make proper decision, I need to find what is relevant, what is irrelevant. A relevant cost is what is critical for making decision. So if you have some relevant cost, that you will have to identify the cost as relevant. Any cost which is given in the question, identify that as relevant. The moment it becomes a relevant cost, then only it will be used for your decision making purpose. Now, as far as your theory is concerned, if at all you want to make any running notes, you can make. Otherwise, everything is covered here. Your material covers. Initial 120 pages will be on your theory part. So you need not refer your ICI material. You need not refer any other material. So you can just focus with this. Initial 120 pages are on the theory part. Then we'll start with problem solving on the other areas. Now, coming to relevant costing, the definition of a relevant cost is, just a moment. Okay, the definition of relevant cost is, a relevant cost is one which is expected to be a future cost. The main thing is it has to be a future cost and it should change between alternative course of action. It has to be a future cost. Relevant cost is a future cost. So it is something which has to be a future cost and it has to change between the alternative course of action. So whatever decision we are going to take, it has to change between the alternative course of action. Okay, now let's discuss on this. Your noting down and all is not critical. Everything is covered here. So your focus in the class should be to understand the concept. Now I'll give you an example. I'm going to set up a new plant. In order to set up a plant, I want to assess the demand in Chennai region. So PepsiCo wants to set up a manufacturing plant in Chennai and they want to know whether the demand is there for PepsiCo or not. I call some market research agency. I tell them you will have to do a market survey. So they meet a lot of customers, they check with them, then they give me a report. I have to pay 50 lakhs for the report. So I have paid that 50 lakhs. I'm made to pay also. You can understand in both the ways. I'm made to pay 50 lakhs to this guy. Now he gives me the report. I'll use the report and decide whether I should set up this manufacturing plant or not. Because I'll get to know whether the demand is there or not there in Chennai with the help of the report. The report will say whether customers are interested in PepsiCo product, whether people want this, how is the competitive scenario. So after understanding all of this, my plan was to manufacture this or to set up a manufacturing plant. In order to set up a manufacturing plant, I also have to buy land, plant and machinery. All of that has to be done. Now to do this project, all this fixed assets, working capital, everything is spent some 100 lakh, some 100 crores, let's assume. This market research, you have spent 1 crore. Market research, you have spent 1 crore. Now capital budgeting exercise, I have to start with initial outflow. The initial outflow, when I do my analysis in a capital budgeting exercise, is this 1 crore a relevant outflow? Should I take this into consideration when I make my decision? 1 crore rupees of market survey expense, which is perfectly related to setting up a manufacturing plant. I want to set up a manufacturing plant. So I call the other person, he does a market survey, he gives me the report. Now I'm deciding whether to set up a manufacturing plant or not. I did market survey because I wanted to set up a manufacturing plant. So that is the scenario. Now when I do my analysis, is this 1 crore a relevant expense or not? Whether this 1 crore is a relevant expense or not for capital budget. Because when you do capital budgeting, you have to write your initial outflow, in between flows, you do all that analysis, calculate NPV, positive NPV, negative NPV, you decide and then go ahead with the project. That's what the analysis we do. Now in all of this, I want to know whether this 1 crore will come or not. I want your participation. You participate, it's right, wrong, there's nothing of that sort. Whatever makes sense to you. Is this 1 crore a relevant item or not? Whatever, it's not relevant or relevant, just a justification for it. Whatever be it, whatever is your sense, you have decided something, be it relevant, be it irrelevant, there should be a logic behind it. So whatever is your logic. It's not a, okay, but it is perfectly related to the decision I'm taking. Kind of perfectly related to the decision I'm taking. If I'm not required to set up, so you said it's not a future cost. PepsiCo manager comes and says, why do you say it's not a future cost? Why do you say it's not a relevant cost? I'm taking this decision, I am doing this manufacturing plant, then only I'm incurring this 1 crore. You may be right, I'm just trying to give you alternative views and then let's discuss on it. Relevant, irrelevant.
Irrespective of what happens, you still have to conduct a survey, whether or not you decide to the plant will incur expense either way.
Okay.
So it has to do with the future course of action trading issue also change. But here the incur this cost, if you have to set the plant or not, either way you have to spend the money.
Okay, so whatever you said is perfectly right. So the basic thing is, what you need to keep in mind is the decision you are taking. What is the decision we are taking is setting up manufacturing plant or not. To set up, that's the decision we are taking, to set up plant or not. In order to make this decision, I'm going to split this as yes and no. Yes and no is what I'm going to split it as. If I set up the manufacturing plant, I'll have to pay 1 crore for market survey. If I don't set up the plant, I have to pay 1 crore for market survey. If I don't set up the plant, I have to spend 1 crore for market survey. Irrespective of whether I set up the manufacturing plant or not, 1 crore is to be paid to the other person. I cannot go to the market survey team and say that, or the person who has done the market survey, we are not setting up this manufacturing plant, your report is of no use to me. He'll say my effort is already gone in, you have to pay me 1 crore. You have to pay me 1 crore. Whether it is paid or not, it doesn't matter whether it is paid or not. The moment an auditor gives his report, I have to pay him. Whether I'm using that report, not using that report, I'm using a project report, not using, I tell you to do something, whether that report is utilized by me, not utilized by me, it doesn't matter from an analysis point of view. I have to pay that 1 crore to you. Clear? Any doubts in this? So, irrespective of payment, we are going to incur this 1 crore. So, anything which you want to identify as relevant or irrelevant, the first key thing which you need to know is what is the decision you are taking. In your mind you should be clear what is the decision you are taking. Your decision is not whether to do market survey or not. The decision is whether to set up manufacturing plant or not. If the decision was whether to do market survey or not, it is relevant, because if I decide to do market survey, I'll spend 1 crore. If I decide not to do market survey, I'll spend 0. Clear? Now in this, lot of changes can happen. The changes can be that I can decide with the market survey team saying that, research team saying that, you do the report and give me, I'll pay you 50 lakhs. But if your report is good for me, I'll pay you another 20 lakhs. If your report is good for me, that is, if I decide to set up the manufacturing plant, I'll pay another 20 lakhs to you. So in that case, if you do the project, you'll spend 70 lakhs. If you don't do, you'll spend 50 lakhs. 70 minus 50 is relevant. Yes minus no. What is relevant is yes minus no. To identify anything as relevant or irrelevant, it's always yes minus no. So 70 minus 50. It has to change between alternative course of action. What is alternative course of action? Yes and no. Yes is first alternative, no is the second alternative. Clear? Any doubts on this? Any doubts on this? Okay. I have booked a movie ticket. I have paid 200 rupees per ticket. Everything is done. After booking the movie ticket, in 10 minutes, I have decided not to go for the movie. XYZ reason, I have decided not to go for the movie. Not able to find someone who's ready to take my ticket. No, I'm not able to give it to any relative so that I can tell him, you go and watch the movie. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Just going by relevant costing. I'm just talking about relevant costing principle. Does it make sense to sell the movie ticket for 20 rupees? Going by the concept of relevant costing. Does it make sense to sell the movie ticket for 20 rupees? Somebody is ready to buy at 20 rupees. He's saying, I'll pay 20 rupees. Does it make any sense to sell the movie ticket for 20 rupees? What is the relevant cost of movie ticket? What is the cost of the movie ticket? No, that is before booking. After booking, 0. The moment you have booked the ticket, the relevant cost of your movie ticket is 0. You can't do anything with it. You don't watch the movie, you're not going to get anything out of it. So before you were booking the ticket, it was 200 rupees, because if I book the ticket it is 200, if I don't book the ticket it is 0. After you have booked the ticket, yes means 200 rupees, you watch the movie, you don't watch the movie, you are not going to get anything out of it. So the moment the movie ticket is booked, the relevant cost of the movie ticket is 0. Now there can be opportunity cost concept which will come, I'll explain all of this later on, but the main important thing is to identify something as relevant or irrelevant. What you need to do is, yes means what is going to happen. When I'm talking about yes, the kind of decision which you're making. So the decision which you're making, yes means what's going to happen, no means what's going to happen. I'm a dealer of mobile accessories, so I have a lot of mobile accessories which are there, headset, chargers, everything is there. I go to Bangalore on a personal trip. During the personal trip, I went to a shop and I found a lot of items which are there, which can be sold in my shop. So I end up buying a lot of stuff. And then bring it back to Chennai. When I do my analysis on purchase cost, the travel cost to Bangalore and coming back and staying there, can I consider it as a relevant cost of purchasing the accessories? I went to Bangalore with the objective of attending some wedding, but before attending the wedding, I just went on some shop. I went there, I found a lot of items which can be used for my shop, so I end up buying it. I did purchase of even 4-5 lakhs, let's assume. After buying 4-5 lakhs, can I add that 10,000, 15,000 of extra expense which I'm incurring for the Bangalore trip as a relevant expense for my shop? No. The same thing would have changed if my objective was to go for buying the mobile accessories. The moment I had thought that I'll go to buy mobile accessories and I go to Bangalore, the trip cost will form part of your purchase cost. So a lot of things in a practical world. So the point is, after even discussing relevant costing even for 7-8 hours in the class, people still struggle with this concept. You will keep struggling with this concept, and it is, see, in order to understand something as relevant or irrelevant, I have only one thing to tell you. That is, whatever be the decision, two issues you will face. First, you will not understand what is the decision we are trying to take. If you have understood the decision to take, after understanding the decision to take, you will have to make up your mind, yes is what is going to happen, no is what is going to happen. When I gave that movie ticket example, I booked that ticket. Before booking, I said 200 is relevant. After booking, a friend of mine has come. He says, I'll buy it for 100 rupees. Then, yes means I'm watching the movie. I get 0 rupees. I watch the movie, I get 0 rupees. No means I don't watch the movie, I'll sell it for 100 rupees. This 100 is my opportunity cost. The relevant cost of your movie ticket. The worth of the movie ticket is 100 rupees, 200 rupees before booking the ticket, 100 rupees after booking the ticket. The moment the show is started, it is 0 rupees. The moment the show is started, the worth of the movie ticket is 0. Your friend told he wants to buy for 100 rupees. You were adamant saying that no, I'll sell it for 150, I'll sell it for 200. You kept on waiting. The movie was to start, and 5 minutes back you're saying, do you want to buy the ticket? He says, I'm not buying it. So the worth becomes 0. So the movie ticket which is there, the worth of the movie ticket changes with time. Because your alternatives keep changing. Yes means what is going to happen, no means what is going to happen, keep on changing at times. It keep on changing with time. Clear? Able to understand this? Now with this in mind, I'll start with the various subparts which are there in relevant costing. So we'll start with something called as relevant cost of material. You write this. Relevant cost of material. How many of you had to get the workbook? 3 of you. I'll arrange it in the next class. As of now, maybe sit next to someone so that we manage today's class. Okay, relevant cost of material. Split that into 2. I'll first give it and then I'll discuss on it. Split that into 2. Relevant cost of material, split it into 2. material in stock, other side material out of stock. In stock, out of stock. Out of stock, put an arrow mark down. I'll give what is relevant in some time there. In stock, split it into two. Material in stock, split that into two. Fast moving and slow moving. Fast moving and slow moving. Fast moving and slow moving. Fast moving, put arrow mark down. Again, I'll give an explanation to that in some time. Then slow moving side, split that into three. Slow moving, split it into three. Split it into three. Can be sold. Can be sold. Second part, used as a substitute. Used as a substitute. Third one is both options. Both options. Okay. Now I'll discuss all of this. Now I'm going to do a project. For the project, I need 100 kgs of raw material A. That is what is I need. I go to the shop and check whether material is available. It's not available. I don't have material. So when the material is not available, when I do my relevant costing analysis, if I take up this project which I'm thinking about, yes means purchase the material. No means don't do anything. You're going to do anything with that. Because if you do this, whatever decision I'm talking about, if I take that decision, I'll go to the market and buy 100 kgs of that product. If I'm not doing it, I'll keep quiet. Let me not do anything. Let's keep quiet. So, if it's an out of stock material, yes means what is going to happen is you will have to pay for the purchases. No means you'll pay zero. No means you'll pay zero. So the relevant cost of a material which is out of stock is replacement cost / purchase price. Replacement, we use the word replacement cost. Replacement cost is nothing but the current purchase price. Because the material is not in stock, you go to the market, buy the material. Clear? Any doubts on this? So out of stock, put an arrow mark down. Out of stock. Out of stock, put arrow mark down. You can write replacement cost. Replacement cost. Replacement cost. Clear? So if I decide to do whatever decision I am talking about, the moment I decide to do, I have to go to the market, buy that product and then consume it. So my relevant cost is replacement cost. Clear? Any doubts on this? Next, the other scenario which I talked about, where the material is in stock. So I wanted 100 kgs. I went to the shop premises. I saw 100 kgs being there. Now please listen. The first scenario is it's a fast moving item. What is fast moving is that material, the company may do 10 different projects. Somewhere the material was to be used. So when you go, because why did I buy the material? There are project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4, project 5, project 6. Project 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were using this material. That's why I had bought this. Suddenly project 1 guy comes and says, I want 100 kgs of this product. So I went to the store. I saw the product was there. Now please listen. Now the product which was there was historical purchase price, HPP. Historical purchase price is 6 rupees. It was purchased at 6 rupees. Current purchase price is 12 rupees. Current purchase price is 12 rupees. Realizable value is 8 rupees. Realizable value is if you want to sell it off. If you want to sell that raw material which is available with you, you can sell it for 8 rupees. You had bought it at 6 rupees historically, but something has happened in the economy, the prices have gone up and it's available at 12 rupees. I went to the stores and said, give me the material. Project 2, project 3 managers came and said, nothing doing, we are not going to give you the material because we have to use it for our purpose. We had purchased this material for my own project. Why do you want this material? I said, there's an urgency to do this. We are same company, you will have to give me this material. Then he says, if you want to take the material, you take it, but please buy new material for us so that we will use it. You take this material and purchase new material so that we are going to use it. And whatever price you pay for the new purchases, you pay it from your pockets. Don't ask for my manager to pay it. So I will give you the material and you give me the material back. I'll give you the material and you have to give me the material back. Because why this guy is not ready to agree to this is because he has bought it at 6 rupees. In a practical world, every department will have a P&L prepared against them. So in their books of account, they were under the logic that this raw material is at 6 rupees. Suddenly you say no 6 rupees, you buy it at 12 rupees, I'll start reporting losses. So I was not okay with it. He said, no, tomorrow I have to honor this commitment. We are in the same company. I said, great, you take the material you want, but please buy it. So what happens if it's a fast moving item is use the material in P1. P1 is project 1 plus buy the material for P2. P2 is the earlier project which was going on. I have to buy the material because that guy is not going to allow me. Use the material. You want to use it? I am allowing you to use it, but please buy the material for the other project. If I don't do this project, use the material for P2. Using of the material is certain. So this is going to anyway happen and this 6 rupees is of no use to me. What price I bought it is of no relevance to me. What is relevant cost for a fast moving item is again purchase price. Purchase price are replacement cost. The logic is that the moment you utilize it, you will have to replace it. The moment you utilize it, you will have to replace it. Whereas the other one, you need not utilize it, but you will have to buy and use it. Here, see, the point is the raw material was already purchased by someone. Now I am using that raw material and I am telling the other person, you use the new raw material which I am buying in. Technically, out of stock material and in stock fast moving material is same. Out of stock material and in stock fast moving material is same. There is no difference here. I cannot say any difference between an out of stock material and in stock fast moving material. They are for all practical purposes same, because the reason is an out of stock material. When an out of stock material is there, you have to buy and use it. When an in stock material is there, you have to use and buy it. You will have to use and buy it. Whether you buy and use it or use and buy it, that depends on your urgency level. Because if it was not agreeable to project 2 manager, I'll have to buy and use it. Though it is in stock, the second manager is saying nothing doing. I'm not going to give you the material. I'll have to use it for my project. I'll have to give the commitment I've committed. I'll give the delivery tomorrow. Then in that case, though it is in stock, but for all practical purposes, what you need to do is you will have to buy and then only use it. You cannot use and buy it. So technically, whether the material is in stock or out of stock, it doesn't matter for a fast moving item. It doesn't matter for a fast moving. So fast moving item, you put an arrow mark down, or it will say fast moving, sometimes we'll say regularly used. Put an arrow mark down, replacement cost. Replacement cost. It becomes your replacement cost. Any doubts on this? Now we'll go to the slow moving scenario. See, the basic thing is the relevant costing chapter is entirely on logic. If you are able to logically think what is going to happen in a company, if you are able to think through that, the problem is almost over. There's nothing to be done. Now, same scenario, 6, 12, 8. Let's take the same examples. This is some 100 kgs of some product which was needed. I went to the stores guy. I said, do you have the material? He said, yes. Is anybody else is going to use it? He said, no, nobody is interested in this product. So technically they are saying it's a slow moving item. Now you think logically and tell me, if you do the project, what are you going to do? And if you don't do the project, what will you do? If you do the project, what are you going to do?
Buy and use the product.
Which one?
You take the product from the store, buy it from him and use the product.
So not technically not buy, you are using the material. He stores, there's no first. So you use 100 kg of material. Will you buy new material? I'm not under any commitment to replace it. Any cash inflow, outflow? No. No cash inflow, no outflow. Okay, you are not doing the project. What are you going to do then? If you don't do the project, logically what is going to happen in the company? Will something be done by the company or will they keep quiet? You are not using the material. You will sell it off. Your scrap material, how long will I wait? I'll wait for some time. If I'm not getting it, I'm going to sell. So, if no means sell the material for 8 per unit. Sell the material for 8 per unit. This 8 is technically opportunity cost. This 8 is technically your opportunity cost. So the relevant cost of a material which is slow moving. I have given 3 scenarios. I'm talking about the first scenario. First scenario was can be sold. Where it is can be sold, the relevant cost is realizable value. The relevant cost is realizable value. So can be sold, put arrow mark down. Realizable value. Realizable value. The logic behind this is, if I'm not using it, I'll scrap it off. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now the second part is can be used as a substitute. Now the same thing, 6 and 12 are the example, but you cannot scrap it. Nobody in the market is ready to buy this product. Nobody in the market wants this product. So if you want to scrap it, you'll scrap it at 0. There's no realizable value for the product. Some smart person came in the company and he said that this unit, 100 units of A which you are seeing, no, you can use as 200 units of C. 100 units of A can be a substitute for 200 units of C, and C is regularly used within the company. So you wanted product 1, you don't have product 1, you use a substitute called as product 2, and what the information given in the question is that this 100 units of A can be used as a substitute of 200 units of product C. It can be used as a substitute of 200 units of product C, and this product C is currently purchased at the rate of 5 per unit. You are buying this at 5 rupees per unit. So what you can end up doing, they are saying, is that you don't have any use of this material. Great, don't do anything. You make it as 200 units of C. Sometimes the question will say you may have to do some modification and make it. Sometimes you will directly use it as a substitute. All that information will be there in the question, but it can be used as a substitute. So instead of using it as 100 units of A, we'll end up using it as 200 units of C. Clear? Any doubts in this? Now the decision I have to take. Yes, no, project 1. Yes means what is going to happen, no means what is going to happen. Let's logically think. If I do the project, do I need material A? If I do this project which I'm thinking about, do I need material A? Yes. Do I have material A? Yes, I have. Can I use it? Yes. If I don't do the project, do I need material A? No. Material A can be used as a substitute of some other project. Clear? Any doubts on this? Is material C regularly used by the company? Yes. Now please listen. Now let's first think what is going to happen with material A. If I do the project, use material A. Use material A. If I don't do the project, use material A for material C. Use material A for material C. Material A is going to be put to use. That is very clear. I am not going to leave it idle. Either use material A for this project or use material A for some other project. For the time being, let's take it as P1 and P2. So use material A in P1. Use material A for material C in P2. From an overall company point of view, plus buy 200 units of C for project 2. Buy 200 units of C for project 2. Because you need that material. I need material A as well as material C if I do the project. If I don't do the project, I need only material A. I need not buy material C. Because material C is somewhere regularly used by the company. So this and this gets cancelled. The relevant cost is the cost of the substitute. The relevant cost is the cost of the substitute. Because I use this material, I have to substitute it for some other project. Because I use this material, in short, the material A technically has become a fast moving item because it's not material A. It is 200 units of material C. When you say it is used as a substitute, it is no more material A. It has become 200 units of material C. So technically it has become a fast moving item. So the relevant cost is not 5 rupees, it's 10 rupees because 100 is using us 200 units of C. So the second option, what did I give? One was can be sold. Used as a substitute, put an arrow mark down. Cost of the substitute. Cost of the substitute. The last one is both options are available. Ignore relevant costing, ignore any of this. You have 100 units of material A. Now you tell me whether you want to sell it at 8 rupees or use it as a substitute and save 10 rupees. You have material A, ignore relevant costing, ignore all of this whatever I've discussed till now. You have 100 units of material A, you can sell it for 8 rupees or use it as a substitute and save 10 rupees. What will you do? Use it as a substitute and save 10 rupees. So when both options are available, the relevant cost is higher of the two. The relevant cost is higher of the two. Listen for some time. Why it's higher of the two is, if both options are available, I will either follow can be sold or can be used as a substitute depending on which is beneficial. Which is beneficial for the company. So when you say both option, technically it's not both option, it's only one option. Which is that option? You'll have to decide whether it is can be sold or can be used as a substitute. You will have to decide that option. That's why you will make the decision. How do you make the decision? Higher of the two. Your decision is made only by checking where the amount is higher. Clear? Any doubts on this? So if both options are there, it is higher of the two. Okay, this is what we have discussed. So I'll summarize again relevant cost of material. As far as the relevant cost of material is concerned, the first question which I want to know is the material in stock or out of stock? For all practical purposes and most of the question, the book value given in the question is irrelevant. If you have already done something, when I say book value, the book value of the movie ticket will be 200 rupees the moment you have booked. I'm least bothered about it. I'm least bothered about it. What price you have paid in the past. The moment ticket is booked, the moment something is done, that is historical. Technically we call it a sunk cost. So your historical cost is always irrelevant in any decision making. For any decision making purpose, your historical costs are always irrelevant. So when it comes to relevant cost of material, either the material is in stock or out of stock. If it's out of stock, it's replacement cost. So the first question, I'll see what the project needs, and the first question will see whether the material is in stock or out of stock. If it's out of stock, straight away replacement cost. If it is in stock, the next question is whether it is fast moving or slow moving. If it's fast moving, again it is replacement cost. If it is slow moving, when it comes to the scenario of slow moving, we have three scenarios: can be sold, can be used as a substitute, and both options are available. If it can be sold, then the relevant cost is realizable value. If it can be used as a substitute, then the relevant cost is cost of the substitute. And if both options are available, then higher of the two. Clear? Any doubts on this? Let's do a problem on this now. Go through question number 1, page 208. Okay, we'll start discussing this. X Limited has been approached by a customer who would like a special job to be done and is willing to pay 22,000 for it. The job would require the following materials. Our objective is to get the relevant cost of the project, whether to take up this project or not, or whether to take up the special job which has come in. So I need to analyze each of the material and then give my notes on it. Working note 1, relevant cost statement for the special job. 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 Particulars and amount. Particulars and amount. In the particulars, right, material A, in bracket note 1. Initially I'll give you detailed notes, later on we'll keep shortening the notes. Now you first analyze the scenario: in stock, out of stock, fast moving, slow moving. Analyze all of that and tell me what should be the relevant cost of material A. Material A, in stock, out of stock. First question is whether it is in stock or out of stock. Out of stock. Simple. Relevant cost is replacement cost or current purchase price. They can use any of the names. So 1000 into 6 is going to become relevant. Leave some 10 lines, come down notes. 10 lines, come down notes. Point number 1, material A material A is currently out of stock. Material A is currently out of stock. Is currently out of stock, and hence has to be purchased, and hence has to be purchased for this order, has to be purchased for this order. Full stop. The relevant cost is the current purchase price, which is equal to 6,000, in bracket 1000 units into 6, which is equal to 6,000. In exam you may not write such detailed notes unless it's required, so I'll later on tell you when to write, when not to write. In the main statement you can write 6,000. Then material B in bracket note 2, analyze it and let me know. What should be the relevant cost for material B? In stock, out of stock? Partly in stock, partly out of stock. We need 1000 units. Partly in stock, partly out of stock. For out of stock portion, 5 rupees. For in stock portion also 5 rupees, because it's a fast moving item. That distinction is nowhere needed. I am not bothered about whether it is in stock or out of stock for a fast moving item, because you use it and replace it, or buy it and use it. That depends on what is going to happen practically. Clear? So now write material B. Material B is partly in stock. Material B is partly in stock. Full stop. For the out of stock portion, for the out of stock portion, the relevant cost for the out of stock portion, the relevant cost is replacement cost. Full stop. Material B is a fast moving item, and hence for the in stock portion is a fast moving item, and hence for the in stock portion, the relevant cost for the in stock portion, the relevant cost will continue to be replacement cost. The relevant cost will continue to be replacement cost. The relevant cost will continue to be replacement cost. Any doubts on this? In the main working note, how many units? 1000 into 5, 5000. 5000. Then analyze material C. 2000. Okay. Is it in stock, out of stock? Partly in stock, partly out of stock. Out of stock 300 is into 4. Out of stock is 300 into 4. In stock, fast moving, slow moving? Slow moving. Substitute, sold, both option. What is that? Can be sold. That is the only option. So for 300 units, it's into 4. For 700 units, it's into 2.5. 300 units, it is into 4. 700 units, it is into 2.5. Now come down. Material C. Material C is partly in stock. Material C is partly in stock. Is partly in stock. Full stop. For the out of stock portion, in bracket 300 units, for the out of stock portion in bracket 300 units, the relevant cost is the replacement cost. The relevant cost is the replacement cost. In bracket rupees 1200 equal to 300 into 4. Rupees 1200 equal to 300 into 4. Any doubts on this? Next, material C, continuation. Yeah.
So when this C is it's not realized the cost, right? I will not be able to use it in my project.
No.
It's written that material C, it is a result of a previous excess purchase.
Correct.
It will not be used in the project as well.
Correct.
Why should I consider 300 into 2?
No, so you need 1000 units. Material C, so a company will do project 1, project 2, project 3, project 4. This material C could have been purchased for project 1. Some other project, you have purchased it in the past. Project is not happening or something has happened. After buying, I don't know what to do with the material. So I have kept it in the stores. After keeping it in the stores, suddenly you come to the storekeeper and say, I need this material and give me 1000 kgs. He says, we have 700 units. I'll give you 700. Balance 300, you buy it from the market. So I'll have to buy it. Next, for the in-stock portion, sorry, material C. Material C is a slow-moving item. Material C is a slow-moving item. Material C is a slow-moving item and can be sold. Material C is a slow-moving item and can be sold at 2.5. Can be sold at 2.5 per unit. Can be sold at 2.5 per unit in bracket opportunity cost. Technically it's an opportunity cost. We call it as realizable value, but technical name is opportunity cost. Can be sold at 2.5 per unit. Full stop. The company will lose the opportunity. The company will lose the opportunity. The company will lose the opportunity of selling these 700 units. The company will lose the opportunity of selling this 700 units. Selling these 700 units by taking up the new job. Lose the opportunity of selling these 700 units by taking up the new job. By taking up the new job. Full stop. Hence the relevant cost for these 700 units is 700 into 2.5 equal to, you can write 700 into 2.5, 1750. 700 into 2.5. Clear? Next, total relevant cost of material C equal to 1750 plus 1200. $1750 plus 1200. Any doubts on this? Analyze material D.
Everyone has got two notebooks. Guys.
Okay, coming to material D, I need 200 units and entire 200 units are available. Fast moving, slow moving? Slow moving. Can it be sold? Yes. So they have here used the word no other use could be found for material C and material D, but material D could be used in another job as a substitute. This information does not mean it's only substitute because they have given realizable value here. The realizable value is already given in the question. The moment you write realizable value here, it can be sold. The moment you give substitute information, you can use it as a substitute and it becomes both option. It becomes both option because here they have mentioned about the realizable value. When we did material C, nothing was mentioned here, but still we took this 2.5 and did the analysis because that was the realizable value. What they are trying to mention here is use, not about the saleability part. The material C can also be sold, material D can also be sold. This information talks about whether there is any substitute option available. So material D, both options are available. You can use it as a substitute, you can sell it. Now, ignoring relevant costing, do you want to sell it for 6 rupees or use it as a substitute and save 5 rupees? Sell it for 6 rupees or save 5 rupees? It's not save 5 rupees, it's a different amount. I have purposely told 5 rupees. It says 200 units can be used as a substitute for 300 units of E. So technically it is not 5, it is 7.5. 200 will replace 300. So one, like when I gave here, I was saying 100 units will replace 200 units of the other product. So technically 200 units of D can save you 300 into 5. Can save you 300 into 5, which is 1500. So every unit can save you 7.5 rupees, not 5 rupees. So do you want to sell and earn 6 rupees or save 7.5 rupees is the decision we have to take. Now another point which can come in is sometimes the wordings may not be very clear and a scope for assumption can come in. The scope for assumption can be that is some authors have in this problem also taken an assumption saying this 200 units of D will replace only 200 units of E. It is, they have said, can be used as a substitute for 300 units of material E, but still some of the author have said 1 unit of D will replace only 1 unit of E. So sometimes some assumptions, some wordings can change. Here I don't see any scope for assumption. More or less it's very clear. 200 units of D is going to replace 300 units of E. So that is more or less clear. Any doubts on this? So 200 units of D you sell and earn 1200. You use it as a substitute and save 1500. Now count down. Material D note 4. Material D note 4. Come down. Material D is currently fully available in stock. Is currently fully available in stock. So the company can do either of the following with this. Either of the following with this. Point number A, sell it for rupees 6, sell it for rupees 6 and sell it for rupees 6 and earn 1200. Sell it for rupees 6 and earn 1200. Point number B, use it as a substitute. Use it as a substitute of material E. Use it as a substitute of material E and save 1500. And save 1500. Below that, after that A and B, it continuation of the same point. The company would like to save 1500 with material D. Would like to save 1500 with material D. Full stop. It will lose this opportunity. It will lose this opportunity. It will lose this opportunity if the same is used for special job. It will lose this opportunity if the same is used for special job. It will lose this opportunity if the same is used for special job. Full stop. Hence the relevant cost of material D is 1500. Any doubts on 1500? Clear? Can you proceed? Okay, now please listen. We'll have to see the requirement of the question. The requirement says, what are the relevant cost of material in deciding whether or not to accept the contract? They have not told me to make any decision. They have just asked me to give relevant cost of material alone, not the entire relevant cost. So all other expenses to be specially incurred besides relevant cost of material is 550. This is also relevant, but it's not a relevant cost of material. So with this, the relevant cost of material is over. Listen for some time and then I'll tell you to write. Relevant cost of material. Whatever is to be done with this, it is over. But if at all they want me to do the entire analysis, then other relevant cost 550. Total relevant cost. How much is the customer willing to pay? Relevant revenue. Net benefit. I should go ahead and do the special job because I'll save 6,000 or I'll earn 6,000 rupees from this. So my relevant cost of material, that's what the question says. We end it there and you continue doing this. This is what the entire analysis is. You have some other relevant cost. The total cost is 16,000. Revenue is 22,000. So you earn a net benefit of 6,000 rupees. I'll just give it. Any doubts on this? Clear? Then I'll move to relevant cost of labor. So now write relevant cost of labor. Relevant cost of labor okay. Now as far as labor is concerned, I'll tell you when to note it down. I'll keep explaining the concept. So I have to do a project. To do a project, or let's assume I have to do audit. To do audit, we need 4 people. 4 audit managers are required in the for doing the audit. Now the scenario can be is labor available. That is, they are available in the company, and labor not available. So in one scenario you see labor being available in the company. The second scenario, labor is not available in the company. You need 4 audit managers. You go to you say that I want 4 audit managers. You see within the company people are available, people are not available. So let's first discuss labor not available. Easy scenario, labor not available. You need 4 audit managers, they are not available. You want to do this audit, what will you do? Recruit them. So very simple. Labor not available, the relevant cost is wages. I call it as wages because that's what we normally use. In the example which I was talking about, it's kind of salaries, but wages payable. The relevant cost is wages payable. Whatever you are going to pay to them, plus some recruitment cost if at all it is there. Whatever is the out of pocket cost which is going to go to recruit them. Clear? Any doubts in this? So audit managers needed, not available, relevant cost is wages payable. Now labor available, busy, idle. In one scenario you see them being busy with some audits, in another scenario you see them being idle. There's no work at this point of time. You see them busy or you see them idle. So these are the 2 possible scenarios to the workers. Now I'll first discuss on the idle part. I'll tell you when to note it down. Listen for some time. When it comes to idle part, in a practical world, it is not so easy to remove workers. From when I talk about factories and all, it's because labor unions are very strong. You don't have work, you still may have to continue with workers for some time unless you are shutting down the plant. So if they are idle, there can be 2 scenarios. Can be terminated, cannot be terminated. A classic example is article assistant. Whether you have work or not, you may have to continue for that 3.5 years. You cannot terminate them in between saying that I don't have work. So whether work is there, not work is there, because I'm talking about idle. Idle means work is not there. When work is not there in the factory, can the laborers be terminated or they cannot be terminated? In one scenario, can be terminated. cannot be terminated. So you either terminate them or you cannot terminate them. These are the two possibilities. Now let's think from a relevant costing point of view. I need 4 audit managers. They are idle in the company. They are idle in the company. First scenario, you cannot terminate them. You cannot terminate them. The new audit comes in. Yes, no. The new audit comes in. Yes and no. Yes means what will happen? These 4 people will work on the audit. Will you pay them salaries? Okay. You are not taking up this audit. You are not taking up this audit. What will these 4 people do? Idle. Will you pay salaries? Yes. So if you cannot terminate them, relevant cost is 0. If you cannot terminate them, relevant cost is 0. Whether you do this project or not do this project, you have to pay them salaries. Whether you do this project or you don't do this project, you have to pay them salaries. In short, payment of salaries to these people and the decision which you are taking has no linkage at all. The decision which you are taking and payment of salaries to these people, there is no linkage at all. Whether you take up this order, not take up this order, these guys will say, give me money. And if the problem is silent, the assumption is they cannot be terminated. You cannot terminate people. That's what is the normal assumption. The normal assumption is people cannot be terminated. Okay, assume they can be terminated. Assume they can be terminated. If you take up the project, these people will work on the order. You will pay them salaries. If you don't take up the project, you will terminate these people and pay 0. You will terminate these people and pay 0. So if they can be terminated, relevant cost is wages payable. Whatever wages you are going to pay, the entire wages will become relevant cost. The entire wages is going to become relevant cost. So note it down till this: labor available, labor not available, available not available, not available is relevant cost, wages payable. This chart is just for quick reference. You are now going to go through this chart. There's nothing to read. It's only one thing: yes, no. What is going to happen? Everything you decide, it's only through yes or no analysis. The available part is busy and idle. So if I have some workers whom I cannot terminate, the salaries which I pay to them is 0. Technically, relevant salary which I pay to them is 0. So if I have some workers whom I cannot terminate, I should try to keep them engaged so that I get some revenue out of them. But the relevant salary which I pay to them is 0. The relevant salaries paid to a person who cannot be terminated is technically a 0, because it is an unavoidable expense. Anything which is avoidable is relevant. Anything which is unavoidable is irrelevant. Anything which is avoidable is relevant. Unavoidable is technically irrelevant. That is what the analysis is. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now I'll discuss on the busy part. Now listen for some time. Now on the busy part, 2 possible scenarios can exist. In one scenario, can be substituted cannot be substituted. one scenario can be substituted, second scenario is cannot be substituted. That is, I want 4 audit managers to work on this audit. I call and say, okay, can you work? They are saying, no, we are already doing audit of bank A. Why do you want us to do this audit? Who will do bank A audit? So that is what they are currently working on. Then 2 possible scenarios can exist. One scenario, somebody else can do bank A audit. Somebody else can do bank A audit, which means they can be substituted. Nobody else can do bank A audit, because that is a specialized audit. Only these 4 people can do, and the new job which is coming also only these 4 people can do. That's the problem I have in hand. So in one scenario, I can tell somebody else to do this work. In the other scenario, they cannot be substituted. Clear? Any doubts in this? Now, when it comes to cannot be substituted, what is going to happen is, practically if I do the special audit, or the new audit which is coming in, first thing I'll do is, can be substituted. First thing which I'll do is, I'll take this 4 people out from bank A audit. And tell them to do bank B audit, the new audit which has come in. So 4 people removed from bank A audit, they are doing bank B audit. I pay them salaries. Any doubts till now? I remove them from bank A, tell them to do bank B audit, and I pay them salaries. If I don't do this new audit, they continue to do bank A audit, I continue to pay them salaries. So whatever salaries I'm paying to these guys is irrelevant. The only additional thing is, when I do this audit, I remove this bank A people, no? In that place, I'm recruiting somebody and paying them salaries. So bank A audit, or the new audit which has come in, the new audit and old audit. The new audit is done by 4 audit managers who are paid 6 lakh rupees per month, let's assume. New audit is being done by people who are paid 6 lakhs per month, and the old audit is done by substitute who are paid only 3 lakhs. From a relevant cost point of view, the labor cost for bank A audit is 3 lakhs and new audit is 3 lakhs and old audit is 6 lakhs. New audit is done by people who are earning 6 lakhs, but relevant cost is only 3 lakhs. This is like fast moving item which has to be replaced. So technically what is going to happen is, you use the existing employees and recruit them, or recruit them and use the employees. That is the logic again. Recruit and use, or use and recruit, whatever way you want to do it. If there is an urgency, use the existing people and then recruit the new people, or recruit the new people and use. So for all practical purposes, can be substituted is like labor not available. Because when you say can be substituted, technically you are saying I have to recruit more people. So just that yes or no analysis again here. New, old. So there is a new audit and old audit. Just a minute. In the new audit, what is going to happen is, old people will work. Sorry, there's a confusion. Audit, yes, no. I'll keep it as yes and no. Yes means what happens, no means what happens. Yes means 4 managers will work on new audit. 4 managers will work on new audit. Pay them 6 lakhs. 4 new people will work on old audit. Pay them 3 lakhs. So 4 managers will work on new audit and you will pay them 6 lakhs. And some new people are recruited for the old audit which is going on and you pay them 3 lakhs. If you decide not to do this, these 4 people will continue to work on old audit. You'll continue to pay them 6 lakhs. So this 6 and this 6 is cancelled. This 6 and this 6 is cancelled. This 6 lakhs has to be paid in both the scenarios. So technically that gets cancelled. 4 managers are working on new audit who are paid 6 lakhs, but the relevant cost of the new audit is only 3 lakhs. The relevant cost of the new audit is only 3 lakhs. Clear? Able to understand this? Any doubts? It does not matter who is working on it. It really doesn't matter because of this decision. In short, because of taking up the new audit, what is additionally happening in the company is you're recruiting 4 more people and paying them 3 lakhs. That is what net happening. Everything else is same. You are additionally recruiting 4 more people and paying them 3 lakh rupees. Clear? Any doubts on this? So if it can be substituted, cost of the substitute, if they can be substituted, then the relevant cost is cost of the substitute. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now put this breakup, cannot be substituted. I'll explain. Okay, now I'll discuss about cannot be substituted. What is going to happen? Now let's bank or new audit, old audit. New audit, I don't know the revenues and all. I'm not bothered about it because we are trying to find out the cost and all. This is the cost structure of the old audit which was currently going on. Revenue was 10 lakhs. Revenue was 10 lakhs. Employee cost was 6 lakh. Variable cost was 2 lakhs. Fixed cost was 1 lakh. Was giving me a profit of 1 lakh. It was giving me a profit of 1 lakh. This is what the audit cost or the revenue structure was. 10 lakhs of revenue, employee cost of 6 lakhs, variable cost of 2 lakhs, fixed cost of 1 lakh, and you were earning a profit of 1 lakh rupee on that audit. Or you were to earn the profit of 1 lakh rupee on that audit. Suddenly this new audit comes. I need these 4 people to work on this audit. And unfortunately, these are the people who cannot be substituted. So you will have to now take a call whether to do old audit or new audit. You cannot say that I'll do both. Both are not possible. Clear? Any doubts till now? Now please listen. Yes, no. 4 managers will work on new audit. No means 4 managers will work on, either they work on new audit or they work on old audit. Somewhere they are going to work. Either they work on new audit or old audit. Clear? Any doubts till now? I'm not clear on the revenue structure and all. That doesn't matter because we are trying to find out the relevant cost. When they work on new audit, the only thing which I know now is salary of 6 lakhs will be paid. Salary of 6 lakhs will be paid. Clear? Any doubts in this? I'm writing it in brackets, okay? Or let it get to positive. I'll explain in some time. Salaries of 6. If these people work on old audit, what and all will happen for the company is they'll earn a revenue of Or basically whatever I've written here, they'll earn this. They're going to earn this part. Revenue of 10 lakhs, they'll incur employee cost of 6 lakh, variable cost of 2 lakh, fixed cost of 1 lakh, profit is 1 lakh. So this side total is cost is 6 lakhs. Cost is 6 lakhs. This side profit is 1 lakh. So I'll technically call it as negative 1 lakh is the cost. This side the cost is negative 1 lakh. Any doubts till now? Now another thing which I have to see is when I calculate this, I'll have to find whether whatever I've written is relevant or irrelevant. Some of them are irrelevant, then again I'm making a mistake. As a concept, all fixed costs are irrelevant. As a concept, all fixed costs are irrelevant unless you give me additional information. So they are not earning a profit of 1 lakh, they are earning a contribution of 2 lakh. They are earning a contribution of 2 lakhs. Clear? Any doubts till now? Now the relevant cost is 6 lakh minus of minus 2 lakh. 6 lakh minus of minus 2 lakh, it becomes 8 lakh. 6 lakh minus of minus 2 lakh, it becomes 8 lakh. The relevant cost is lost contribution plus wages payable. Let me explain this still again. Lost contribution plus wages payable. That's the formula. But here there are certain challenges. Wait. This 6 lakh is irrelevant. So some people will argue why wages payable is to be added. Because in students sometimes added, sometimes they have not added. So technically what happens is, I agree this is irrelevant. This side also it is irrelevant. So the contribution is not 2 lakhs. The contribution is 8 lakhs. The contribution is not 2 lakhs. The contribution is 8 lakhs. So the formula is lost contribution plus wages payable. But when you calculate contribution, if you have by mistake deducted labor cost, then please add it back. So it's either 2 lakhs plus 6 lakhs. If you have not done the mistake, then it's 8 lakh plus 0. If you have not done the mistake, then it is 8 lakh plus 0. Some question will say the project is earning a contribution, in bracket they'll say without deducting labor cost or after deducting labor cost. The normal word contribution means it's post deducting labor cost, because labor is a variable cost. Labor is a variable cost. So the formula is lost contribution plus wages payable. The only challenge is when you have calculated contribution, did you calculate the correct contribution or not? If you have not calculated the correct contribution, then please add back labor. Please add back labor. So either your contribution is 10 minus 2. 10 minus 2, which is 8 lakhs. If you have calculated it as 8 lakhs, I'll say 8 lakh plus 0. If you have calculated it as 2 lakh, which is post deducting the employee cost, okay, no issues, then please just add it back. 2 lakh plus 6 lakh, it becomes 8 lakhs. Clear? Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Now other way of understanding this is anyway going to be paid. This is anyway going to be paid. Fixed cost is anyway going to be incurred. Only two new things happen because of the project. One, I lose 10 lakh of revenue and I save 2 lakh of variable cost. Because of me taking up this audit, I lose 10 lakh of revenue and save 2 lakhs of variable cost. That's how 8 lakh has come in. I lose 10 lakh of revenue and save 2 lakhs of variable cost, because if I'm not doing that, I save that 2 lakh rupees. Clear? Any doubts in this? So in this case, it is lost contribution plus wages payable. Lost contribution plus wages payable. The only important thing is wages, if it has not been deducted, don't add it back. If it has been deducted, then you'll have to add it back, because I agree that this 6 lakhs is an irrelevant item, because instead of 6, even if you write 20 lakhs, no, both the places will be 20, again it will become irrelevant. Both the places I'll write 20 and make it irrelevant. Both the places I'll write 1 lakh and make it irrelevant. Both the places I'll write 5 lakh and make it irrelevant. The 6, if you change it as 7, will my answer change? No. If you change it as 4, will my answer change? No. Because both the places I'm going to write the same thing. The important thing is this 10 and 2. The important thing is this 10 and 2. So it is lost contribution plus wages payable. Why plus wages payable is, if at all you have done the mistake, if at all, because the normal understanding of the word contribute, if the question says the laborers are earning a contribution of so much, it means that laborers are earning contribution post deducting employee cost. So this breakup I have given, no, if I'm not giving this breakup, most of the times in the question I'll write the bank A audit is earning a contribution of 2 lakh. That's what I'll give. Is earning a contribution of, some question will say is earning a contribution of 8 lakhs in bracket without deducting employee cost. Rarely you will see such questions, but sometimes they may mention that. Clear? Any doubts on this? So it's lost contribution plus wages payable. Note it down. Focus more on listening to the classes. Your notes, whatever running notes you want to make it, but focus more on understanding the concept. Some of the lectures I'll upload in YouTube, so you can refer there if at all you want to refer it later on. So I'm recording all the lectures, so some of them will get uploaded. So your focus in the class should be to understand the concept. So pay more attention on this rather than noting it down. Noting it down is not going to serve any purpose. Clear? Any doubts in this?
Why don't you consider the contribution for the new audit?
So what we are going to do is, I'll prepare a statement called as like this: material A, material B, material C, material D, labor 1, labor 2, labor 3, labor 4. I'll add all of that and finally compare with revenue of the new audit. So that's where the contribution of the new audit comes in. Clear? Any doubts in this? Now as far as labor is concerned, I'll just summarize it. It can fall in the scenario where labor is available or labor is not available. If they are not available, relevant cost is wages payable. If they are available, they can either be busy or idle. If they are idle, the next set of question is, can you terminate them or they cannot be terminated? If you cannot terminate those set of people, relevant cost is 0. The relevant cost is 0, and if you can terminate them, relevant cost is wages payable. Busy can be substituted, cannot be substituted. If you can substitute them, cost of the substitute, and if you cannot substitute those people, the relevant cost is lost contribution plus wages payable. Clear? Any doubts on this? Go through question 2. Okay, coming to scenario 1, labor is presently not available and hence has to be specifically recruited for this contract. What will be the relevant cost? Wages payable, right? Question number 2, part A. All these are independent different scenarios. Part A, point number 1, labor is currently unavailable. Labor is currently not unavailable. are not available. Labor is currently not available. Is currently not available, and hence has to be recruited. Has to be recruited for this contract. Has to be recruited for this contract. Full stop. The relevant cost is wages payable. The relevant cost is wages payable. Below that, relevant cost equal to 100 into 10,000 plus 100 into 20,000. 100 into 10,000 plus 100 into 20,000. Hundred into 10,000 plus 100 into 20,000. Clear? Any doubts on this? Okay, let's discuss question B. It says labor force is always moved from job to job depending on the urgency. It is likely that the above job, if accepted, will have to be done by grade A workers alone. Okay, now I'll first explain what does moving from job to job depending on the urgency mean. Whenever I get new work, I'll keep shuffling some set of people. The reason for that is I have a lot of idle workforce within the company. So when they say labor will be moved from job to job depending on the urgency, it kind of indicates that there is a lot of idle workforce which is available within the company. So some set of people, there will be some smart set of people who can do any kind of work. So I'll keep shuffling these set of people to some other job, and wherever some routine work is to be done, I'll tell these idle people to go and work there. That is what moving from job to job depending on the urgency. And they are saying who is going to do all this work? Grade A. I need grade A as well as grade B, but they are saying entire work is going to be done by grade A. The reason for it, maybe I have more surplus of grade A. Net labor can move from job to job depending on the urgency indicates that labor is idle. Indicates that labor is idle. We will assume that labor cannot be terminated and the relevant cost is 0. It doesn't matter whether grade A is going to do the full work or grade B is going to do the full work. Why they keep moving from job to job is these 4 audit managers are the most important people in the company. So they'll keep moving from job to job depending on when a new audit comes in, and I'll keep telling the existing set of people you keep working on this. So because there are so many idle people available in the company, I keep telling them these set of people will keep moving because they do the initial part of it and then these people will take care of it. So now write part B. Labor moving from job to job. Labor moving from job to job. Moving from job to job depending on the urgency. Moving from job to job depending on the urgency. Depending on the urgency would indicate. Depending on the urgency would indicate that. Would indicate that they are idle. Would indicate that they are idle. It is assumed that the workforce cannot be terminated. Assume that the workforce cannot be terminated. Cannot be terminated. And hence the relevant cost is nil. It is assumed that the workforce cannot be terminated and hence the relevant cost is nil. Clear? Any doubts on this? Done? Can you proceed? Analyze scenario C. Can you tell me what will be the relevant cost? 90? For which? 94,000 is the overall amount. No, it's not 94,000. After doing some multiplication, or what are you saying? 94 lakhs. Yeah, it will be 94 lakhs. Now please listen. Grade A workers are additionally recruited, so 100 into 10,000 done. Grade A is 100 into, I'll tell you to note it down, listen for some time, 100 into 10,000. Grade B workers are extremely busy and currently earning a contribution of what? 3.2 per rupee of direct wage. How much is the wages you are paying them? 20,000. If you are paying them 20,000, they are earning you 64,000. If you are paying them 20,000, they are earning you 64,000. 3.2 per rupee. 3.2 rupees for every rupee of direct wages. So if you are paying them 20,000, they are earning us 64,000 of contribution. Now, the normal understanding of the word contribution is this contribution will be after deducting labor cost. It will be after deducting labor cost. So I'm adding it back. If sometimes they are currently yielding a contribution in bracket without deducting labor cost, or excluding the analysis of labor cost, or without considering labor cost of 3.2. If they say without considering labor cost you are earning 3.2, then last contribution is 64,000, wages payable is 0. Last contribution is 64,000, wages payable is 0. If you have deducted labor cost, you add it back. In short, they are not earning 64,000, they are earning 84,000. Because they are earning 84,000, meeting their own expenses of 20,000 and then giving a surplus of 64,000 to the company. So these set of people are earning the company 84,000 rupees. Clear? Able to understand this? So they are not earning a contribution of 3 rupees 20 paise. They are earning a contribution of 4 rupees 20 paise. They are earning a contribution of 4 rupees 20 paise. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now write part C. Grade A workers have to be additionally recruited. Grade A workers have to be additionally recruited. And hence the relevant cost is wages payable. Relevant cost is wages payable. Clear? Any doubts on this? Next, grade B workers are available, busy and cannot be substituted. 3 scenarios. They are available, next they are busy, and you cannot substitute them because information is not there, which indicates you cannot substitute them. Are available, busy and cannot be substituted. Available, busy and cannot be substituted. Clear? Any doubts on this? Full stop. The relevant cost in this case is lost contribution plus wages payable. Is lost contribution plus wages payable. Is lost contribution plus wages payable. Full stop. They are currently earning a contribution. Of 3.2. They're currently earning a contribution of 3.2 per rupee of direct wage. Earning a contribution of 3.2 per rupee of direct wages. And hence each worker is earning 64,000. Each worker is earning 64,000 of contribution. Each worker is earning 64,000 of contribution. Next point. This is more for your understanding. The normal terminology of contribution. The normal terminology of contribution. The normal terminology of contribution is post deduction of all variable cost. Is post deduction of all variable cost. Is post deduction of all variable cost in bracket including labor. Is post deduction of all variable cost in bracket including labor cost. Deduction of all variable cost in bracket including labor cost. Full stop. Full stop. Labor as such is an irrelevant item. Labor as such is an irrelevant cost. As the same would be incurred by the company. Irrespective of any decision. As the same would be incurred by the company irrespective of any decision. Full stop. In this case, labor cost has been deducted. In this case, labor cost has been deducted, and hence we need to add it back. In this case, labor cost has been deducted, and hence we need to add it back. Relevant cost of grade B equal to 20 plus 64. Relevant cost of grade B equal to 20 plus 64. 84,000. Okay, now this is one critical adjustment where people keep struggling. Okay, it will be labor available, busy, and cannot be substituted. Some of the challenges is also because institute has not been consistent in the solution. Sometimes they have added, sometimes they have not added, but this is perfect logic goes by this. So if you have deducted while calculating your contribution, I'll add it back. Clear? Any doubts on this? So finally, total relevant cost is equal to 100 into 10,000 plus 100 into 84,000. After doing that, go through question number 3. Okay, now let's first discuss this question, then we'll come to the relevant part. I want to take up a contract. I need 4 people, like that 4 audit managers which we are thinking about. I can recruit these people at a cost of 40,000 per employee. That's one option given to me. Ignore relevant costing and all. You can recruit 40,000 into 4. Some supervision has to be done and he has to be paid some 60,000 per annum, some 10% of the manager's time. If I don't recruit, I see some smart people within the company, I can retrain these people. I can retrain these people. These people I'm paying 30,000 per month. I'm paying 30,000 per year to these set of people. But if I have to train them, I'll have to pay 15,000. The moment I pick these people from the existing place, I have to replace them at a cost of 1 lakh, which means I need to recruit them at a cost of 1 lakh. Calculate the relevant cost. Now please listen. This problem is labor not available. First of all, labor not available. But then they are saying labor available, busy and can be substituted. Both are there. It's a unique problem where both are there. Labor not available. Relevant cost is wages payable. Then they are saying labor available, busy and can be substituted. Both the options are given to us. Now ignoring relevant costing, I'll choose whichever has a lower cost. I'll choose whichever has a lower cost. Whether to recruit people or retrain the existing people. Whether to recruit people or retrain the existing people. That's a choice I have to make. Now I don't want you to write anything. Listen for some time. If you recruit people, how much money are you going to pay, including that supervision, everything put together? Let me know what amount are we paying. If you recruit people, just focus on the first 4 lines. Overall, what is the additional outflow? 1 lakh 66,000 or 1 lakh 60 or 2 lakh 20. Okay, now please listen. Wherever the supervisor and all is given, no, you recruit people, you'll have to pay 60,000 to the supervisor. You don't recruit people, you'll have to pay 60,000 to the supervisor. Whether you recruit or you don't recruit, supervisor has to be paid 60,000. Whether he spend 10% of the time, 20% of the time, 40% of the time, doesn't matter. The answer could have been 160 or 220. How it could have been 220 is, the employees would have to be supervised by a new manager whom you have to pay 60,000 per year. This supervisor 10% of the time would be spent on this contract. The supervisors 10% would have to be supervised by a new manager. When you have to recruit somebody additionally for this, then it is 160 plus another 60. Technically this 10%, 20% doesn't matter. See, I'm talking all from a relevant costing point of view. Practically then, am I going to ignore all of this? No, you're not going to ignore these, but these are fixed expenses. So you kind of, when you quote for any contract, you have a relevant cost. On top of that, you have something called as overheads, irrelevant items. All those are irrelevant items, but you need to recover from your customer. So you put some percentage and recover it. Your variable cost, add a profit margin to recover. Add a margin to recover your all irrelevant costs and make money. So all of those are irrelevant items. I cannot end up recovering I cannot recover this 60,000 or 10% of 60,000 from this contract because it is irrelevant. Why relevant costing is calculated is, some of the contracts will be very closely competitive, so you may have to reduce your price. So I calculate the minimum price to be charged. It's your wish whether you want to charge it or not. We are just telling what is the minimum price. So if I recruit people, the relevant cost is 1,60,000. We'll write it in some time, but if I recruit people, the relevant cost is 1,60,000. I'll give a note on supervision part. Any doubts on this? Instead of recruiting, if you retrain people, according to you, what is the relevant cost? If you retrain people, think about it and let me know. If you retrain people, whatever makes sense to you, discuss. It's okay to make mistake. There's nothing. If you have made a mistake on 166, you'll understand the concept of it. So participate. It's okay to make mistakes here. I have, I think, 3 possible answers: 120, 135, 1 lakh or 115. These are the four options. 1 lakh 20, 1 lakh 35, 1 lakh or 1 lakh 15. Okay, first of all, whether training is relevant or irrelevant? Relevant. So the only two answers, 115 or 135. It's either 115 or 135, which makes sense. It's 115. Technically it will look like 135, but what is going to happen is, now the moment I take up this contract, yes, no, for this contract, yes or no. Yes means what is going to happen is, existing people will work. Existing people will work. You pay them 120. You pay them 120. If you don't take this contract, existing people will work on some other stuff. They are going to work because they are there in the company. They are going to work on something else, and you will continue to pay them irrelevant. You will continue to pay them 1 lakh 20. What additionally going to happen? Training cost of 15,000. Additionally, I'll have to recruit somebody to do some other work. I'll have to recruit to do some other work because they were continue to doing some other job. So my relevant cost finally says 1 lakh 15. I'm fighting saying that why are you saying 115? These people are not even working on my contract. People who are working on this contract are 120. No, relevant costing says it's only 115. It doesn't matter who is working on the contract. It really doesn't matter who is working on the contract. So new people will work on some other contract. New people will work on some other contract, and you will have to pay them 1 lakh. So the relevant cost is 1 lakh and another 15,000. 1 lakh 15,000. The relevant cost is 1 lakh and another 15,000. It is 1 lakh 15,000. Now between these two, I'm going to choose retraining option. So final net answer is 1 lakh 15. We'll write notes on this now. Any doubts? Any doubts on the concept? Now write point number 1. The contract require 4 skilled employees. The contract require 4 skilled employees. Full stop. The company has 2 options. The company has 2 options. Next point, option 1, recruitment of new employees. Underline that. Option 1, recruitment of new employees. Option 1, recruitment of new employees. Recruitment of new employees. Point number A. Recruitment of new employees. Point number A. The company will have to pay salary of 1,60,000. The company will have to pay salary of 1,60,000 to the new employees. We'll have to pay salary of 1,60,000 to the new employees. Full stop. This is an incremental cost. This is an incremental cost and hence relevant. This is an incremental cost and hence relevant. Incremental cost and hence relevant. Incremental cost and hence relevant. Clear? Any doubts on this? Done. Next point. Supervisor will be paid. Supervisor will be paid 60,000. Supervisor will be paid 60,000. And he would spend 10% of his time. He would spend 10% of his time for this contract. He would spend 10% of his time for the new contract. Full stop. Supervisor's salary will be paid. Supervisor's salary will be paid irrespective of will be paid irrespective of the new contract, will be paid irrespective of the new contract, irrespective of the new contract, and hence is irrelevant, irrespective of the new contract and hence is irrelevant, of the new contract and hence is irrelevant. Next, relevant cost of option 1 is equal to 1,60,000. Relevant cost of option 1 equal to 1,60,000. Relevant cost of option 1 equal to 1,60,000. Clear? Any doubts on this? Next, leave a line. Option 2 hyphen retraining of existing employees. Underline that. Option 2 retraining of existing employees. Retraining of existing employees. Retraining of existing employees. Point number A. The existing employees can work on this contract. The existing employees can work on this contract. Full stop. They would be paid rupees 1,20,000. They would be paid rupees 1,20,000. They would be paid rupees 1,20,000. Full stop. This is an irrelevant cost. This is an irrelevant cost. This is an irrelevant cost. Irrelevant cost as the same would be paid. This is an irrelevant cost as the same would be paid irrespective of, as the same would be paid irrespective of taking up the new job. Irrespective of taking up the new job. Next point. Training of 15,000. Training of 15,000. Training of 15,000 is a relevant item. Training of 15,000 is a relevant item. Is a relevant item as the same is incremental in nature. As the same is incremental in nature. Next point. Existing employees will have to be replaced. Will have to be replaced by new employees. Will have to be replaced by new employees. Will have to be replaced by new employees. Replaced by new employees for taking up this contract. For taking up this contract. Full stop. The cost of substitute resource. The cost of substitute resource is 1 lakh. The cost of substitute resource is 1 lakh. Substitute resource is 1 lakh. And the same is a relevant item. And the same is a relevant item. Same is a relevant item due to incremental principle. Same is a relevant item due to incremental principle. Any doubts on this? Relevant cost of option 2 equal to, relevant cost of option 2 equal to 1 lakh plus 15,000. Relevant cost of option 2 equal to 1 lakh plus 15,000. 1 lakh 15,000. Any doubts on this? Next, finally, conclusion. The relevant cost of the workforce, the relevant cost of the workforce, the relevant cost of the workforce is the lower of the two, is the lower of the two, is the lower of the two. Why it is lower and why there it is higher is lower is what will you do? What are we going to do? I'm going to obviously retrain the existing people. Is the lower of the two and hence the same is 1,15,000. Is the lower of the two and hence the same is 1,15,000. And hence the same is 1,15,000. Clear? Any doubts on this? Done. Go through question number 4. It's a comprehensive problem.
So why can't they take even the lost contribution?
They have to give information. So she has asked me a doubt on the supervisor. So they say supervisor is going to spend 10% of the time on our job, which indicates that his time in some other job is compromised. He would have supervised some other job. For that, the question has to give you additional information saying that supervisor will work on this contract for 10% of the time, and this would lead to non-completion of another contract wherein the company will lose 5,000 rupees, wherein the company will lose 10,000 rupees, wherein the company will lose some number they have to give. That's an opportunity cost. So that will be your supervisor salary. The relevant cost of, say the point is it's always yes or no. Yes means what is going to happen, no means what. Yes means supervisor will work on my job, I pay 60,000. No means supervisor will work on some other job, I pay 60,000. If this additional information is given, an additional item is supervisor work on my job, pay 60,000. Supervisor work on some other job, pay 60,000 and earn 20,000. That information they have to give. Now because he is working on my contract, I lose that 20,000. So if you lose that 20,000, that is relevant. So the point is, it's always yes or no. What are you losing or what are you spending more? Go through the next question. Okay, now we'll start discussing this. This is a cost estimate which has been prepared, 85,500. This is what historical costing says. Based on historical costing, we have done 85,500. Now what they want us to do is, after analyzing all this information, whether can I take up this contract for 70,000. 85,500, 70,000, you straight away rejected, that's all. That's what your historical analysis will say. Now relevant costing is what helps us in making a proper decision. I'll have to analyze every item: fast moving, slow moving, available, not available, relevant, irrelevant, avoidable, unavoidable. All that analysis I do, and then finally say whether it is relevant or irrelevant. So we are going to restate the statement which is given. We are going to write the exact statement again in the same form: particulars and amount, direct material and components, material A in bracket note 1, give an explanation to it, whether it is 50,000 or another some other number. That analysis is what we are required to do. Clear? Working note 1, relevant cost statement of enquiry 205. Relevant cost statement of enquiry 205. Particulars and amount. You will do it. I'll discuss in a minute. Material A in bracket note 1. I'll give the explanation, but you tell me what should be the amount. Material A in bracket note 1. Read through additional information. What should be this? 20 into 2000. It's available in stock. So material A, note 1, I'll give the explanation. Amount is 40,000. Any doubts on 40,000? It is 2000 units into 20 rupees. 2000 units into 20 rupees. Leave some 12 lines, come down notes. Point number 1, material A is available and a fast moving item. Is available and a fast moving item. Is available and a fast moving item. Full stop. The relevant cost therefore is replacement cost. The relevant cost therefore is replacement cost. Clear? Any doubts on this? Some questions will say give a detailed explanation on your relevancy or irrelevancy. Sometimes they'll just tell you to do the statement. Depending on how much complex the adjustment is, you need to write a note or not. So this and all I could have, if this is a problem where they don't ask me detailed notes, material in bracket you will write available and fast moving, or fast moving item hyphen replacement cost. That's the only thing you'll write, and write 40,000. Clear? Now then material B, analyze that and let me know. Material available, not available.
Material available.
Fast moving, slow moving. Slow moving can be sold
Yes, can be sold
at 18 rupees, can be used as a substitute at 20 rupees. Both options are higher of the two. Clear? So material B in bracket note 2. Amount is 200 into 20, 4,000. Material B is 4,000. Come down, right? Material B Material B is in stock. Material B is in stock. Material B is in stock. Is in stock and is a slow moving item. Is in stock and is a slow moving item. And is a slow moving item. Full stop. It can either be sold. It can either be sold. It can either be sold. Either be sold for rupees. How much it's going? 18. It can either be sold for rupees 18 or used as a substitute to save rupees 20. Used as a substitute to save rupees 20. Full stop. The company would like to save. The company would like to save rupees 20. The company would like to save rupees 20. Would like to save rupees 20, and by using material B in this contract, by using material B in this contract, material B in this contract, it loses this opportunity. Material B in this contract, it loses this opportunity. It loses this opportunity. Full stop. Hence the relevant cost. Hence the relevant cost is 200 into 20. The relevant cost is 200 into 20. 200 into 20 rupees 4,000. Any doubts on this? Next, other materials and component. Any additional information? Any additional information given? Nothing? Now please listen. They have said to be bought means an incremental purchase is to happen, so it's a relevant item as such. No additional information is also there. So other materials and components, other material and component, other material and component in brackets to be incurred. Other material and component in brackets to be incurred. 12,500. Any doubts on this? Next, direct labor in bracket note 3. Direct labor in bracket note 3. Analyze it and let me know the answer. Direct labor in bracket note 3. Skilled, unskilled is analyzed through a same note. What is the relevant cost? Yeah, please participate. We have done this adjustment. They are moved from job which do not make proper use of the skills, which indicates they are idle. It indicates they are idle. No redundancy means you will not terminate them. You will continue to keep them in the company. You will continue to keep the people in the company. The relevant cost is 0. Now come down. The workers frequently move from job to job. The workers frequently move from job to job. frequently move from job to job. Full stop. This indicates that the workforce is idle. This indicates that the workforce is idle. Full stop. They cannot be made redundant. And hence the relevant cost is nil. They cannot be made redundant, and hence the relevant cost is nil. Okay, I'll now explain Department P and Department Q adjustment. Any doubts till now? Now Department P 25, Department Q 20. Any doubts on this? This is like relevant cost of material, labor I've discussed. This is relevant cost for captive consumption. When you do captive consumption, how you have relevant costing is what I'll explain now. Department P, it's a department of Intravero Limited that's working at full capacity. The department is treated as a profit center and it uses a transfer price of 25 per hour for charging out its processing time to other departments. The charge is calculated as follows: variable cost, departmental overhead, departmental profit. Department P's facilities are frequently hired out to other firms. Department Q uses a transfer price of 20. The charge is calculated as below. Now, whenever I do captive consumption, for captive consumption, two possible scenarios can exist in a question. In one scenario, whatever captive consumption department we are doing, it has outside demand. Other scenario, no outside demand. So in one scenario there can be demand from outside people, in the other scenario there is no outside demand. Now please listen, when it has outside demand, what happens is, when I have to consume it captively, I lose the opportunity of selling it outside. So if you have outside demand, the relevant cost is lost revenue, not contribution, lost revenue. Why not lost contribution? Because variable cost will anyway be incurred. Either you incur it for outside purpose or you incur it for in-house purpose. Lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. What does change in variable cost is? The question said Department P's facility is working at full capacity. It's a profit center. Transfer price are frequently hired out to other firm at a charge of how much? 30 per hour. My relevant cost is 30. That's all. I need not even think about additional parts. When I have outside demand, it's 30 rupees. Now the caution is, they said the estimated variable cost per hour is 10. When you do this outside sale of 30 rupees, no, the information may give that when you do outside sale, the variable cost is 12 rupees, not 10 rupees. The variable cost is 12 rupees. Sometimes it may change because when I use it for internal purpose and when I use it for external purpose, because of XYZ reason, some changes can happen. If at all a change happens. So for R, the cost is only 10. For others, the cost is how much? 12. So by using the facility for our purpose, we lose 30 rupees of revenue, but we save 2 rupees of variable cost. We lose 30 rupees of revenue, but we save 2 rupees of variable cost. So that will become 30 minus 2, 28. Sometimes instead of incurring 10 for outside, you will incur only 7 for outside. You will incur 7 for outside. You lose 30 rupees. And on top of that, you spend another 3 rupees also. So it will become 33. So that's why it is plus or minus. It can be plus, it can also be minus. So it's lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. Why plus or minus? It can be plus if you incur more variable cost. It can be minus if you save variable cost. Clear? Any doubts on this? The logic is, if you have outside demand, what are you going to do? You are going to see the usage of machinery is certain. Whenever outside demand, the machine will 100% be used, which indicates that variable cost will anyway be incurred. Variable cost will anyway be incurred. The only change is, sometimes I'll earn 30 rupees of revenue, so that is my loss. Second, the variable cost can change between the option. Okay, if you don't have outside demand and you get a contract, yes, no. Yes means what are you going to do? You get a contract and there is no outside demand for that machinery. Yes means, will we use the machine? Yes means I'm going to use the machine. No means I'm not going to use the machine. When I use the machine, I'll incur variable cost. When I don't use the machine, I don't incur variable cost. When I use the machine, I incur fixed cost. When I don't use the machine also, I incur fixed cost. When I don't use the machine also, I incur fixed cost. So if you have no outside demand, if I do a yes or no of this, variable cost, fixed cost, no variable cost, fixed cost. So fixed will become rejected. They'll get rejected. So if you have outside demand, it is lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. And if you don't have outside demand, it's only variable cost. I'm not bothered about interdepartmental profit, all that is of no use to us. The only thing which matters is, if you have outside demand, lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. And if you don't have outside demand, the relevant cost which we are going to take is only variable cost. Only variable cost. Now, in the problem, write department P, whatever note number, department P, write the note number. Department P, what note? Note 4, no? Note 4, come down. Now first, I'll give the general theory which is like used everywhere. Overheads for captive consumption. You write in this problem itself. Captive consumption. Split it into two. Outside demand, no outside demand. Outside demand and no outside demand. Outside demand, put arrow mark down. Lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. Lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. Lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. Other side, no outside demand, put arrow mark down. Variable cost. Any doubts on this? Now for this question, any doubts on this part? Any doubts? Yeah.
You are including the lost revenue here, but using the bank A or bank B example, why don't we include that revenue which will be generated by the bank?
So when I say lost revenue, if you see that bank A, bank B example, okay, bank A, bank B example, technically finally I told you revenues of 10 lakhs is considered and variable cost of 2 lakh, the same formula, lost revenue plus or minus change in variable cost. This example you see here, lost revenue of 2 lakh, change in variable cost is 2 lakh, because you are not going to incur it this side, you are going to incur it. 10 minus 2 became 8. It's the same formula used in different names, that's all. Now come down, right? Department P is currently working at full capacity. Department P is currently working at full capacity. And has outside demand. Full stop. Usage of 200 hours. Usage of 200 hours for this contract. Usage of 200 hours for this contract. 200 hours for this contract will make them lose the opportunity of selling it outside. Will make them lose the opportunity of selling it outside. Will make them lose the opportunity of selling it outside. Full stop. The relevant cost therefore is 200 into 25. Sorry, 200 into, how much is the sale value? 30. 200 into 30. The relevant cost therefore is 200 into 30. Can you write the note for department Q? Note 5. Department Q, note 5, and tell me the number. Any outside demand for department Q? No. So department Q does not have outside demand. The relevant cost is the variable cost. Department Q does not have outside demand. This is the note you will write. Department Q does not have outside demand, and hence the relevant cost is the variable cost. Department Q does not have outside demand, and hence the relevant cost is the variable cost. Relevant cost is the variable cost. It will be 8 rupees. Any doubts on this? Clear? Can you proceed? Any doubts on this? Okay. Analyze estimating department item. 100 into 5 they have given some extra information. What should be for estimating department? 500, 250. Whatever makes sense, please participate. 250 is incorrect. It's 0. Your estimation is already done. Whether you take up the contract, not take up the contract, it doesn't matter. Whether you do this or you don't do this, technically, now when I write, I'll write estimating department in bracket sunk cost. That's all, no more explanation. It is a sunk cost. It's already incurred by the company. Whether you take up the contract, now the logical thing is it is perfectly related to this inquiry, but still the relevant cost is 0. Because if you say you're not taking up this contract, you're not going to recover. I cannot go to the other person and say that to make this quote I had spent 500 rupees, can you pay me? Nothing is going to work out that way. So the estimating department, in bracket it is sunk cost and the amount is 0. It does not matter whether the cost is 2.5, 10, 15, variable cost, fixed cost, nothing matters. Let them give any kind of breakup already incurred. What would have mattered is if they had said the company has to spend another 50 hours for estimation, then it is 50 into 2.5, not even 5 there, 50 into 2.5, because that is the cost they are incurring. If the question had said you have to spend another 50 hours for estimation, once this is done another 50 hours has to be spent, which is illogical because I have already done the quotation. So if at all they give something of that sort, then it is 50 into 2.5, that is also only into 2.5. So as such, estimation department, right, estimation department, in bracket sunk cost 0, estimation department in bracket sunk cost 0. Any doubts on this? Clear? Can you proceed? Next, traveling expenses. How much? First para or the para before the question says, para before the table, they have already incurred traveling expense of 550 in connection with a visit to the prospective customer's factory. Already incurred 550. Okay, they said they have already incurred but not yet paid. I am yet to pay 550. Then what will be the relevant cost? I am yet to pay 550. Still 0. I cannot go to the other person and say I have not taken up the contract, I am not going to pay you 550. The moment you have incurred is done, that's all. Whether payment is done, not done. So payment is never a consideration for deciding on relevant costing. Payment is never a point. Any item I analyze, I am not going to ask whether the payment is done or not done. Least bother about it, whether payment is done, not done. So if you have incurred means you have traveled. If you have traveled, that's all, it's done. So next, traveling expenses, again sunk cost. Sunk cost 0. Next, planning department. How much? It's either 1500 or 0. Again it's a 0 because my plan have to be prepared before I give this quote. If I am giving this quote, the plan would have been prepared by me. Without preparing a plan, I cannot give a quote. I would have done my analysis and then come to this estimation. That's a normal understanding, unless the question tells you saying that planning will be done after taking up the contract. That the question has to say. Otherwise, estimation, planning, all of these activities are done before you hand up a quotation to the other person. So all of this is already done by the company. Some 10-15 planners would have worked on this for 20 hours and we have already incurred all of this, and then only the quotation has come. This is how I'll do the job, this is what we are going to do, this is where we are going to buy the material. Everything had been done by the company. So planning department, in bracket sunk cost. If it was a relevant item, then they would have given you at least the variable item, because what matters is only variable cost. Entire 5 is not going to become relevant. They would have given some more information, and that information along with an item saying that planning is to be done post taking up the contract. I need that line exactly in the question. Planning is to be done post taking up the contract, because normal understanding is planning is done before you start the work or before you take up the contract. So my understanding is estimation is done, planning is done. Both parts are taken care of. Clear? Any doubts on this? Add up all of this. That's your relevant cost. Total relevant cost 65,700. Any doubts on this? Clear? Done? Now conclusion is, should I take up this contract or not? Yes. So write the conclusion. The company should take up the contract. The company should take up the contract. Should take up the contract as there is a net benefit of, should take up the contract as there is a net benefit of rupees, as there is a net benefit of rupees 4,300 in bracket 70 minus 65,700. Any doubts on this? Clear? Done? So we'll have few more problems in relevant costing, which I'll do in the next class. Now go to the last few pages in the reverse order. You will write few things in the reverse order. Last page of your workbook, last page of your notebook in the reverse order. Summary of adjustments. Summary of adjustments. So whatever I discuss in the class, I'll try to give you 5 to 10 minute summary of that, either at the end of the class or at the beginning of the next class. So it will happen any of the time. Summary of adjustment. Topic 27, relevant costing. Topic 27, relevant costing. Topic 27, relevant costing. Question number 1. Hyphen. Comprehensive problem for relevant cost of material. Comprehensive problem for relevant cost of material. Now when I give these notes, certain question there will be some special adjustment, certain question can be a comprehensive problem. So whatever is comprehensive problem indirectly indicates that when you do your revision, you may have to go through the entire question number 1 again. So just to revise all the concepts of your relevant cost of material, you end up revising question number 1. Question number 2, hyphen comprehensive problem for relevant cost of labor. Comprehensive problem for relevant cost of labor. Hyphen adjustment 1. Labor force moving from job to job. Labor force moving from job to job. Moving from job to job indicates that they are idle. Moving from job to job indicates that they are idle. This is what we learned critically in question number 2. Question number 3, hyphen no special adjustment. Indirectly means you need not revise this question again. Question number, if you have understood in the class, that's more than enough. You need not revise this question again. Question number 3, hyphen no special adjustment. Question number 4, below that point number 1, comprehensive problem for captive consumption adjustment. Comprehensive problem for captive consumption adjustment. Comprehensive problem for captive consumption adjustment. So you want to see what you do for captive consumption, you will refer this question. Comprehensive problem for captive consumption adjustment. Next point, estimation and planning. Estimation and planning is normally done. Estimation and planning is normally done before the work is started. Is normally done before the work is started. Hence the same would be a sunk cost. Clear? Any doubts on this? Now what I would want you to do with the classes is, and the homework sums which I give, these are things which I felt as important adjustment. You may feel something else is critical. So when I give summary of adjustment, when I give question number 1, if you want to write something else, leave some 3-4 lines gap and you fill it up whenever you get time. So post the class is done or before the class, if you feel something else is critical in question number 4, you can note it down, because for me what is critical I have given you. For you, if something else is critical, then please keep noting it down. The issue which most of you faces, you make notes for theory, or some of them you will not make that. Theory, at least you know to make notes, but what is more critical is practical papers you have to make notes. You have to make notes of your problems. Every problem you solve at home, you need to make a notes of that in 2 to 3 lines or 3 to 4 lines maximum that. If you feel something is critical, if you feel everything is easy, then mark it as no special adjustment, because what end up happening is at the revision phase, you don't have time to go through this entire workbook. You will not have time to go through this workbook, and apart from that, you may use some other material or your institute material. You don't have time to go through all of this. Time is very limited. Relevant costing has to be revised in 30 minutes. How can you revise your last 3 pages of your, when you write in the reverse order, 3 pages relevant costing is over, you will revise only those 3 pages. 3 pages revision will take you 10 minutes. If at all you want to solve some problem, 20 minutes time for that. So that is what is critical. So please keep making this summary of adjustment. I'll try to give to the extent possible, but sometimes I may avoid giving it, which means you will have to make your notes. That is very, very critical, not only for my subject. Wherever you're going for your other practical papers, please get into the habit of making notes for practical paper. You end up making notes for theory paper, but what you avoid is making notes for practical paper. You solve something in accounts, please make notes on that. Then only you will know what adjustment it is. Otherwise, 6 months later, if I tell you to solve problem number 4, you'll start from point 1 till the last point, you will do the entire problem and then waste time on doing material A adjustment, material B adjustment. If I have to revise problem number 4, you will have to see only captive consumption and the sunk items. That's all. That is what is critical. You don't have time to revise everything. So I'll be giving you homework sums also. To the extent possible, complete your homework sums and write the summary of adjustment. If you are solving a problem, doesn't make any sense. It is waste of time. Solving a problem is only waste of time if you are not writing your adjustment properly. So whenever you solve a problem, you be it from practice manual, study material, anywhere you solve anything, either it's no special adjustment or there is some special adjustment there. If it's no special adjustment, it means you're not going to revise it again. So be very clear on that. Clear? With that, I'll end it. We'll continue in Monday's class.